Sunday night in Paris. It's been, I would say, an largely overcast, but it has been a rain-free day as we head into week 2. Good evening and welcome to Roland-Garros. It's lovely, as always, to have your company. Now, today has been about piecing together the lineup for the main draw singles quarterfinals. We've also had doubles and mixed doubles, and today was the first day of the junior competition. And here for you is what we have coming your way this evening on tonight's show. Simply sublime Świątek sails into the quarterfinals. Alcaraz and Tsitsipas to meet again in the Roland-Garros last 8. And Sinner looking to break French hearts under the lights. And look at that, the roof is off Philippe Chatrier. It's a wonderful sight. There was actually a cheer earlier today when the sun broke free from the clouds. It shone down on the centre of the court, and the players were a little bit surprised as to why everyone was cheering. It's because there was sunshine. Now, you saw them at the end there, the two players who will be contesting tonight's night session in Jannik Sinner, who won the Australian Open at the start of the year, and Corentin Moutet, the last Frenchman standing at this stage. Now, he arrived the earlier of the two for his first night session, 12:59, so giving himself enough time to settle in and get ready for what will be a first meeting against Jannik Sinner. And as we know with Moutet, it's expect the unexpected. It's probably the best way to describe him. You know more what to expect from Jannik Sinner. Now, he came in at 4:28 this afternoon. He's the man that's just lost twice this season. Alcaraz at Indian Wells and Tsitsipas at Monte Carlo has been dealing with that right hip, though, but it's looking good so far. We're going to follow their progress until they come out on Philippe Chatrier through the course of the show. But there's some live tennis to bring you. The singles matches today taking place on the two show courts. So this is Susan Longland, again with the roof off. And this is a 6th meeting between Grigor Dimitrov, the Bulgarian, and Hubert Hurkacz. And you saw that the score as it just flashed away. It's the Bulgarian that took the first set on the tiebreak. Now, Hubert Hurkacz had set point opportunities, but now Grigor Dimitrov a set and a break advantage, just starting to pull away. Against Hurkacz, who's in form at the moment, having won his first clay court title in the European clay court swing. That was earlier this season in Estoril, so there could be plenty more to come in that match, and as always we will keep you across absolutely everything. But in terms of the matches that have been completed and the players who have booked their place in the quarterfinals, it's time now to look back on how today's action unfolded. Now, in truly extraordinary style, Iga Świątek notched up her quickest match of her career by 5 minutes. It took 40 minutes to beat Anastasia Potapova, love, conceding just 10 points with 2 unforced errors. You have to go back to Roland-Garros 2019, actually, for when she took 45 minutes to beat Simona Halep. Absolutely incredible, Iga Świątek. 18 straight matches at Roland-Garros, 16 match win streak on clay, unbeaten on Philippe Chatrier since 2021. The numbers are unbelievable. She is just 23, and here's what she had to say about the match in press.
Well, we have time to practice tomorrow, so there's no need to do that today, because it's not like I'm playing, next match tomorrow and I need to work on some stuff and I need to, rush it. So, no, usually I don't play even after a quick match. Maybe, it happened a couple of times, but yeah, I don't feel like I need to right now. So I'm actually happy that I could, recover after a match against Naomi, because, 3-hour matches, they stay with you for a couple of days. But I felt really fresh today. So there's no need to make it worse again. It's better to recover.
Frightening how good she looked. Now, in the quarterfinals, she will face the Wimbledon champion, Marketa Vondrousova, who came through against the qualifier from Serbia, Olga Danilovic. She just had a little bit too much for Danilovic. She was playing her 7th match in a row. Vondrousova has struggled at the first part of the season. She's coming into her own now. She reached the Stuttgart semi-finals on clay indoors, and she's won a match through the rest of the tournaments leading up to Roland-Garros, runner-up in 2019. Now, a finalist here in 2022, Coco Gauff. Not that many people, I feel, are talking about her in terms of winning this title, but it was just over an hour on the clock that she came through 6-1, 6-2 against Elisabetta Cocciaretto. Gauff, 20 years of age, the reigning US Open champion, her 5th appearance here, her 3rd consecutive Grand Slam quarter-final, her 4th consecutive Roland-Garros quarter-final. She's now got 28 match wins in 2024. She's got that title at Auckland at the start of the year. A really good win for Coco Gauff through to the last 8, and this is what Gauff had to say when she was interviewed on court.
I think when you make tennis simple, it's easier because at the end of the day, you have to focus on your things on the court. Yes, it's good to know the opponent's habits and everything, but you know, you can't overcomplicate it because they may not play you the same way. And also on tour, you play girls multiple times. I think this is my 2nd time playing her this year, so we kind of already know how to play, and then we just look at what we could do better from the last match.
And how about this for a last 8 matchup? Coco Gauff will be up against Ons Jabeur. Back-to-back Roland-Garros quarter-finals for the Tunisian. It's her 7th career Grand Slam quarter-final. She moves to 10-9 for the season. Now, most of those 10 wins have come on the clay. Really struggled at the beginning part with a knee problem. It pretty much took her out the Middle Eastern swing that she really wanted to take part in, but she needed the time to let it heal. Heal it has. She's looked wonderful moving around on the clay, and she's just putting together a good run of form. She's always great when you hear from her, but how about this, leading a song on Susan Longland.
يا مش نورمال يا مش نورمال يا واحدة للفينال علي علي فرصة رقصي علي علي فرصة رقصي يا مش نورمال. Merci beaucoup. Félicitations, mesdames et messieurs, Ons Jabeur.
It's why she's called the Minister of Happiness. Ons Jabeur, lovely to see that smile back. She is through to the last 8. Now, we'll run you through the winners from the men's draw a little bit later. But first up, let's continue following the journey of the players who'll be taking part in tonight's night session, because those players are going to be coming out quite soon. Next up, it's the gym. Corentin Moutet, the Frenchman, he's 25 years of age. It's his first Roland-Garros 4th rounder. He was in the gym at 19 minutes past 6. We are very, very precise on this show. And then at 6:40, he went out to practice on Philippe Chatrier. Just get a feel for conditions, just to move around a little bit. There's a breeze today. There's been a touch of sunshine. He's going to be playing at night. Things are going to feel very different. And he has a very different style of game, the Frenchman. So going through his paces, remembering he got here at just before 1 o'clock this afternoon, so plenty of time to settle himself in. The best result for him this year was a semi-final. The best result for that man there who was training Jannik Sinner at 5:37. Well, where do we start? Australian Open at the start of the year, backed it up with Rotterdam's, only lost twice this year, pulled out of Madrid due to the right hip problem, and he looks really relaxed. Signing a few autographs after his training session. Just taking a little bit of time with the fans. He says the hip is feeling fine. And this is as we speak, just minutes before they take to the corridor to go up the stairs to go on to Philippe Chatrier. He's in the gym just doing a few stretches. Remember, he said if the hip hadn't been right, he would not have come to Paris. He would not be taking part in Roland-Garros. And at the moment in the live rankings, he is the world #1 with the way the points system works. If he reaches the final, it's still a big if, then he will be the new world #1. Right, let's run you through the men who have booked their place in the last 8, and we start with a former world #1 in Carlos Alcaraz, and someone who's been dealing himself with a few issues, but unfortunately in this match it was Felix Auger-Aliassime who injured his left adductor in the first set. He said he could fight on, but he was limited. But Alcaraz continued through semi-final last year, 7th event of the year, 8th match on European clay in 2024. And this is what Alcaraz, the Spaniard, had to say in press conference a little bit later.
Well, I'm really happy to be back in the quarterfinal here in Roland-Garros. I think this, this is a special tournament for me. That I always want to go far in this tournament, and yeah, I'm really happy with the performance in general. I think I moved well. Tactically, it was a really good match for me, and yeah, it was an up and downs in the match. That is something that I'm really working on every day. So I'm really proud of this.
Love that big smile. And he's got a mouth-watering matchup next up against Stefanos Tsitsipas, the runner-up here in 2021, who moved to 17-3. His win-loss record on clay this year, the Monte Carlo title, the Barcelona title, had to come from a set down against the Italian Matteo Arnaldi. And he said it's one of the greatest comebacks he thinks he has had. 28th win of 2024 for Stefanos Tsitsipas. And again, it's lovely to see that smile. The 9th seed, he moves on, he's into the last 8, and he gave the crowd his thoughts on court after the match.
I had to push on cue today a lot of moving my ass and making sure. It was one of the craziest comebacks I've had. The momentum seemed to be going his way the entire match. It was very frustrating on my end because I felt like I was, trying my best, trying to make him move. Nothing really seemed like it was working, and I think my spirit was the reason I managed to come back today. Even at 5-3 in the second set, I felt like I can come back. I felt like there's power within me to turn this match around, and I think that game at 5-4 when I broke him was the biggest pleasure I've experienced in tennis in a very long time, because I felt like there is a chance. I felt like now me and the crowd, we are on this, so it felt amazing.
Now, that was not the end of Stefanos Tsitsipas's day's work here at Roland-Garros. He's watched during that match by his brother Petros. He's now alongside brother Petros out on court 14. They have entered the doubles together, and they've played doubles together a fair amount of time. They're in a really healthy position here, and Stefanos has said how important it is to play alongside his brother Petros. They want to qualify as a player to play in the Olympics back on the clay here at Roland-Garros later in the summer. And Stefanos Tsitsipas has also recently said that he will, if everything's set, play mixed doubles well with Maria Sakkari. Remember, earlier in the year he said, I'm not sure I would play 3 events, it might be a little bit too much. He's now said that all being well, he would play singles, doubles with his brother Petros, and then mixed doubles with Maria Sakkari. So that is a lot of Olympic tennis for Stefanos Tsitsipas to get his head around, but it means an awful lot for him to be out there playing with his brother Petros. So that is taking place at the moment. There is Petros on court 14. The atmosphere is great. There's a wonderful crowd, as you'd expect. And to keep across the results, don't forget the official website or our social media channels. Now, when it comes to our shot of the day, this was technically a shot from day 7, but as it took place early this morning, I think around 2 a.m., I'm happy to say that it qualifies for today's shot of the day.
Merci.
It was quite incredible. And for those of you that were listening via Radio Roland-Garros and stayed with us until the end, thank you very much, because it was after, you can see the match clock in the background, over 4 hours. Now, the match started at 10:30 in the evening and it finished just after 3 o'clock in the morning. So the latest finish in the history of Roland-Garros. Novak Djokovic in that 5th set just found another gear. The serve percentage went up. He was hitting the lines. He didn't seem happy at times, but absolutely incredible how he was able to come through. And also Lorenzo Musetti and the tennis that he was playing. Some stunning, stunning stuff for both. We were speculating, we were all talking when we got to bed this morning and it was quite late. Novak Djokovic, with his press commitment and then his warm down and everything he needs to do, probably wasn't in bed until around 6 o'clock this morning. And he will play in the day session, so the final match of the day session tomorrow. So that was an absolute epic. Now, moving on, this is, as you've just seen there, it's serious stuff because we're getting towards the business end of the competition, but we've still found for you some moments that have made us smile.
Bravo.
Tête de série numéro 21, il est canadien, Félix Auger-Aliassime.
J'avais dit quoi?
Should I get closer?
I cannot hear. Sorry, guys, sorry.
That was mildly terrifying by Corentin Moutet. Is he going to be doing it again this evening? The roof is off, and in just a few minutes' time, the players will be announced out onto Philippe Chatrier, which means it is the time of the show as the sun breaks free from the clouds to focus our attention on the two men taking part in Sunday's night session. So what we have ahead of us is a first meeting between Corentin Moutet, who's currently 79 in the world, and the Australian Open champion Jannik Sinner. It is now just minutes away. So let's find out a little bit more. We can hear from them both and just put a bit more, some more meat on the bones ahead of the first meeting between Moutet and Sinner.
It's one of the best players in the world, maybe the best at this moment.
Playing against any French player here, it's very difficult.
Such a great player, I watched him a lot.
I'm just looking forward to compete.
You can imagine the atmosphere that we're going to have inside Philippe Chatrier this evening. There is a French player, the final French player in the men's draw, still Varvara Gracheva in the women's draw to come tomorrow. And Jannik Sinner, who knows that he could end these 2 weeks in Paris as the best player in the world. It's incredible stuff, and it's going to unfold on Philippe Chatrier earlier this evening. Now, over on Susan Longland, we've been bringing you the live tennis. A short while ago, it was court 14 for the Tsitsipas brothers. Now it's Susan Longland, where Grigor Dimitrov, now he has this wonderful record. It's 5-0, and you might remember that Gilles Muller, our guest earlier this week, has tipped Grigor Dimitrov to reach the semi-finals here. Now, he's never been through to the quarter-finals. He's a set away now with this 5-0 head-to-head against Hubert Hurkacz. There still could be an awfully long way to go. Hurkacz is not happy with how things are unfolding at the moment. And remember, he had set points in the first set in the tie-break. But it's Grigor Dimitrov who is back in the top 10 for the first time in a few years. He reached the final of Miami. He says he's doing things his way. As he gets older, if there's a day he doesn't train, he doesn't train. Whereas for Hurkacz and the confidence that he's starting to build on clay, he says it's all about not changing your game too much. You have to tweak things, but play your game. And winning that title in Estoril a short while back means he's now won titles on all 4 surfaces. And you can see there in terms of the numbers, there's not actually an awful lot to choose between them, but it was Grigor Dimitrov that took advantage of one of the 3 break points that he had. Hurkacz could not convert the one he had, and it turned out to be the difference. 2 tight sets between the two. And remember, you can follow that via the social media channels. Right, your order of play for tomorrow. The weather is said to be set fair again, but it's an 11 o'clock start on all courts, including Philippe Chatrier, where we have Alina Svitolina against Elena Rybakina. That's a really intriguing match to start things off. Emma Navarro, who needs a very long and good run here to be in with a chance of qualifying for the USA Olympic team later this summer. At the moment, Madison Keys, who she beat in the last round, is ahead of her. She's up against, though, Arina Sabalenka, who's on an absolute tear at the moment. Novak Djokovic against Francisco Cerundolo. Now that wraps out and rounds off the day session. And then under the lights in the evening, Sasha Zverev. How has he recovered from his 5 sets against Talon Griekspoor? He'll be up against Holger Rune. Over on Susan Longler, now it's these 2 courts that will have all the singles matches. Alina Avanesian, who came through against Zheng Xinwen, against Jasmine Paolini, who won the 1000 event in Dubai earlier this year. Alex de Minaur enjoying his career best season on clay against Daniil Medvedev, who kind of likes clay, will never love it. The last French woman standing, Varvara Gracheva, takes on the teenager Mira Andreeva. And Taylor Fritz, the American, came through in 5 sets against Thanasi Kokkinakis last night, takes on the Geneva winner and former finalist here in Casper Ruud. And remember, it's an 11 o'clock start. That is including on Philippe Chatrier. Now, I don't know if the music is filtering across. What that music is doing is telling the fans within Philippe Chatrier that they need to start taking their seats, because very shortly the players will be welcomed out for the night session. A night session that we have up to and including the quarterfinals. And Corentin Moutet, he is 0-11 against top 10 players, and he's looking to be the first Frenchman into the quarterfinals here since Richard Gasquet achieved that in 2016. And interestingly, he has only played on clay in 2024. And that is all levels. I'm talking challenger, qualifying, tour level events. He's played 34 matches at all levels, all on clay. And Corentin Moutet will make his way up the stairs. The task is tough. It's against Jannik Sinner. You can listen to every ball on Radio Roland-Garros, and we will be back with you at the same time tomorrow, rounding up all the day's action. So all there's left to say is good night and enjoy the night session. Jannik Sinner against Corentin Moutet. Bye for now.
Premier joueur monté sur le court a déjà disputé une finale sur le circuit. Il était au 4e tour de l'US Open en 2022. Il est encore au 4e tour ici, mais c'est à Roland-Garros. Il est français,